Okay, we are really excited to be here. And at some point, I'm going to take a picture of this because it's really lovely to have such a wonderful crowd out on a Friday evening. And I think, Nawaz, that tells us a lot of what we want to know about interest in this topic. We'll start with a question to Nawaz, play a short video. And this is a slightly shorter session. It's about a 30-minute session. So we'll be sure to get questions in about 15 to 20 minutes in. Let me start by asking you, Nawaz, you've been in the fitness industry. You've had you run body art fitness centers, and you've been part of the fitness industry much before it became so trendy. So I want to ask you a little bit about what led you to this journey for the book, and we'll come back to the business of it.
So I'm so delighted to be here and to see a full audience. I was told front lawn, oh my gosh, that's going to take something to fill it up, but it's lovely to see it absolutely full. Hi, everyone. What a great vibe here. So my journey started in the 90s, where there was nothing in terms of fitness. There was just I come from Mumbai, born and bred there, and the only thing available in terms of fitness there was the Odd Talwarkars. That was it. Gym, that's it. One cure for no matter what your disease was. It just wasn't happening. It was my life's mission and goal to bring a lot more in, to pioneer many a first into the country, and to really develop the market and spread the word. And that trajectory then moved further into things that are today. Anti-aging, living your best life in terms of health, in terms of aesthetics, in terms of mental, spiritual, physical, any and every methodology. And I did find that many people were asking me the same questions over and over again in terms of anti-aging. And while the answers to me were very basic, were very apparent, to them they weren't. And it came together in a natural culmination of me feeling, hey, this really has to be out there for everyone, every day. It's very easy, it's very to-do, must to-do. And it is all about you just getting down to it. It doesn't require anything expensive, any extensive reach, etc. It's available to any and everyone.
That's interesting. And I feel like it's a sign from the universe that I'm here. So clearly we're going to get to those must-do tips and techniques. Could we play the short video that Nawaz's team has sent? The video?
Pause, rewind is broadly about age reversal through exercise, nutrition, and lifestyle changes. The book includes the science behind exercise and what precisely it does to the body. It details the importance of cardiorespiratory fitness, muscle work, be it strengthening, stretching, or balancing, building up the immune system towards better health, and anti-aging. Aging effects on the hair, skin, the basal metabolic rate associated with weight gain, and more, and what one can do about improving each of these issues with a single exercise are demonstrated step by step. Regarding nutrition, the book elaborates on which foods are actually anti-aging, health-promoting, and good for weight management. About lifestyle, other factors that affect aging include sleep, what's in your head space, in your heart space, one's psyche, one's mindset, positive or negative. My book takes a very holistic view and doesn't recommend that one goes rushing into cosmetologists for treatments and invasive cosmetic surgeries, especially so at younger ages, but instead does things in a very natural way. So now, all of us can pause and rewind aging.
All right, maybe some claps for that. Thank you. I feel like it's really interesting because for a lot of us right now, this really has become a buzzword. We're hearing about longevity, the billionaire tech bros. You have Brian Johnson coming in and talking about what he's doing for longevity, why we shouldn't be satisfied with a life that ends where it ends. And there's a lot of talk, research, science going into this. I'd love to talk to you a little bit about how you present this in the book. It's not just about actually having a huge sort of amount of wealth and privilege, or even access to some of these techniques that are not available to everyone. So take us through a little bit of your approach.
So I believe that they're very simple things, easy reaches for everyone. It doesn't cost much. It is something, you have the will, you have the way. Simple, sensible things to do, whether it's keeping your hair on your head, the skin on your face tight, taut, muscle mass, staying lean, countering the ill effects of menopause in terms of weight, etc. And making sure that you really live your best life, because your body eventually is the only vehicle that your soul has to be able to represent itself on planet Earth. If it weren't for it, we wouldn't have that existence at all. It requires some respect, at the very least. So when it comes to everything, eyesight, hearing, incontinence, bladder, bowel incontinence, trembling, shaking, imbalance, all sorts of aging, signs of aging, they can all be reversed with a single exercise with very quick result. And that's what the book is really all about.
And you said there's something for everyone in terms of families, that everyone kind of needs to get in on this. When you talk about lifestyle and fitness, how do you see this as a sort of family oriented approach?
So wouldn't you want your family members, those you love and care about the most, wouldn't you want them to live their best life in their best health? Isn't it the highest stress for us when mother is sick, father's in ICU, somebody is down with diabetes, so on and so forth? All sorts of issues. Our children are not living their best lives. So when we do this for ourselves, we really want the gift of health. It's the best gift you can give to anyone for our loved ones. Conversely, when our family members see those amazing results in us with very little effort, with a few small changes here and there, they themselves also gravitate to the same. So it is a win-win out there. I'm not a one-man island. I exist because of the ecosystem, my family, my friends, etc. around me. I want the best for them too. So that's usually the case, and that's how it could and should go around. Why do you meet your family, your friends, etc. over lunches and dinners, getting fatter and older, frankly? Why not meet them over walks or fitness parties, etc.? Center actually conducts those. Do something healthy, do something happy. Everyone will automatically be happier for the same.
I don't know why she looked at me when she said that. It was a bit of a moment.
No, not at all.
But so it's not just about living long. It's not just about longevity. It's about living healthy for as long as you can.
Quality.
And you have mentioned, including that video, we do see a lot, and also because of the way, so many of us spend our time online. Probably after this video goes up, a lot of people are going to get targeted, thanks to the algorithm. Things about, maybe menopause, some of the topics you discussed, but also cosmetic surgery and that kind of thing. What is your approach to that? And you've also said that there seems to be more and more pressure on people at a younger age.
Of course, the pressure right now is at its maximum for all the reasons we're well aware of, social media and otherwise. So not to paraphrase the same. However, I have no problem when people look at surgery, when people look at, Botox and other more severe methods of, maintaining themselves. But hey, why do that? Get into that when you're in your 40s and your 50s, etc. Why would you want to do that when you're a 17-year-old? And the issue I have with that is, think about those young kids out there, those teenagers who think that they're not good enough. There's something wrong with their face, there's something wrong with their jaw, there's something wrong with, they need the Botox, they need the filler. At 16 and 17, and there are ample such people, what would it be doing to their mental health? What would it be saying to their psychological selves? The damage that's done out there is horrific, and that's what I have a problem with. When you can easily just sort things out with a little tweak here and there. Simple lifestyle matters, simple switches here and there which don't make much of a difference. And you realize you're already the best version of yourself. You don't have to go under the scalpel for the same. Isn't that the highest reward altogether?
Okay, I'm not sure what we're hearing.
Something happening in the background? Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. So yes, and you're saying especially at a younger age that the kind of pressure that comes in, and you see it a lot with young women. It's starting to happen a lot with younger men as well. So, so your point of view is fix what you can fix now without going under the scalpel and then wait for it. Let's get a couple of tips from you, Nawaz, because as you travel the country, you've had your sort of fitness. Well, the business of fitness now is a huge industry, but you started so many years ago. What are the most common things people ask you, and what are some tips you'd like to share?
Well, it always comes down to weight loss and fat loss and stomach, and a few things you can do for that if that is on your mind is think about it logically. We exercise maybe 3 times a week at an average, if even that, but we're eating about 6 times a day. So where are the odds? What are they favoring? Quite naturally, we would tend to put on. If you're eating sensibly, you're eating wisely, and you're grazing, and your 3 square meals don't make you round as a result, because you're grazing really, you've got a lot going already. In terms of what is right and wrong in nutrition, hey, nobody needs to tell you anymore. You know it all already. What is the point of telling you eat more fruits, eat more vegetables, avoid the fried and the battered? You know it all already. It's just a matter of now doing it. And when you have sensible switch ups, something that's helped me hugely, whatever I want to eat, maybe it's that chocolate fudge cake or whatever it is, I just imagine it in my body and where it's hung out on the hips and on the lower abs. And that kind of pretty much gives me all the motivation I need to choose something healthier to satisfy that sugar craving.
I just had an Imarti. I'm not loving this conversation, but thank you. Yes, the gift of imagination, I know where it's going. And when it comes to aging, some of the tips and techniques you share, like you said, you've taken a holistic view of this. What's something that would be relevant, especially for, from an Indian family's point of view, that you could share?
From an Indian family's point of view, there's a huge tug and tussle when you first start trying to live your best self. The tussle starts in the kitchen. Your mother, your mother-in-law, your wife, whatever it is in a huge struggle of, oh my God, now I have to cook something separate and extra for this person. It's such a chore, etc. They do it very quickly when they start seeing the result in you already. You'll start seeing sidelong looks up and down. You'll start seeing people commenting positively. You'll start feeling better. You'll start wearing lighter clothes. And it's not just in terms of tightening, toning, and weight loss, interloss, but it's also in terms of suddenly you've got that healthy glow. Your hair looks so much better, shinier. Your nails are not chipped. They're really healthy. Top to bottom, you just look your best self. And automatically thereafter, the very people who are cribbing about the extra work and the extra burden start saying, whatever you're eating, can I try some of that too? And when they realize that you're not actually giving up anything because you're only substituting ingredients, that's all you're doing. I mean, we all have, our backgrounds are a very, very strong point of our, in terms of our emotional eating. We as Indians may not be able to get away from the dosas or the biryanis or the, whatever it is, bhel puris, more as Maharashtrianites, etc. And none of those have to be taken away. Just make those healthy switch in terms of ingredients and you get the same results. So why not?
And that could probably inspire other people in your family.
Totally, that's what they tend to do then as groups.
Yeah, and because like you said, I mean, that becomes something you're doing with your friends and family. And of course, most of us in India show affection, or our families show affection through feeding. That could be something that has a full effect. I was asking you earlier, who's someone who inspired you on this journey, or someone that you look to as possibly as a role model when you started out, or someone you could call out in this space?
I've really never had a role model that way. Many things about many different people inspire us along the way, so of course, but I've never really had a role model as such. I just felt that, oh my God, there's a dearth of this in our country, and if I have access to it, and I am already on the path, many things came together to make me want to make this my life's goal and mission. And that's really all there was to it.
And in terms of writing the book, was there anyone who encouraged you, or did you look around and see there's no such book in the Indian market, for example?
So for years I've had publishers encourage me to write, and I never thought there was any value in that for a variety of reasons. Here we are now regardless. And therefore, I got down to it pretty late, but got down to it anyway. I am writing for so many publications cross country for so many years, and many things already written came together to say, hey, screamed that they really needed to be part of the book. So that's how it was.
Speaks to the interest now, especially now that there's a spike in interest. I'd love to see a show of hands if you might have a question for Nawaz, because then we can throw open for questions. Anyone with a question on tips she might have on aging, tips from her book, techniques? Yes. Can we get a mic to the young lady in the second row? Thank you. It's not on yet. Okay, we'll wait for a mic that works. Anyone else who wants to raise their hand? Oh, great, we have a few more questions. Do you want to take mine? Yeah.
As an avid follower of your work and as a chef and a nutritionist, my question to you, Nawaz, is how did you transform yourself? Because your most incredible experiment was on yourself, and you've shared about your journey as a child and how you empowered yourself, and I think it'll be so inspiring for everybody to hear about it. So can you please share a bit about it?
Thank you. That's a very interesting question. There is a part of every single one of us and every single person in the audience out here that says to themselves, I'm not good enough. There is a part of us, okay? In a variety of things. Different people are good at different things and not good at different things. That part of me, which said I'm not good enough, was where I was a very small child. I was pretty much almost stillborn at birth. I had to be revived. I was very puny, I was very petite, I was very tiny, very weak, and not good enough in that sense. Luckily, health was never an issue despite all of that, but it could have and would have been just that. So I pretty much knew from a young age that until I took my health and my physical well-being far more seriously personally, because there wasn't much around, I wouldn't be around too long. And that drove me. A lot of the greats in a lot of our fields, the fields that you're in, got motivated, got in there, put their hands to the wheel, to the grind, and got down to it because of the same sort of personal reasons. Certainly a lot of the fitness greats got into it with the same sort of intention. And I don't think there's any more powerful a motivator than just that. So thank you for asking that.
Thank you for the question. And I love what you said earlier also, but you have to respect your body. This is the vehicle we have, for our time on Earth. There were a couple more questions this side.
Thank you so much. Really inspiring. I have a similar journey where I was premature, always petite, tiny, weak, but no health issues as such. But now that I'm 47 and at a perimenopausal stage, as they say, if you have any specific tips for perimenopausal and menopausal women, particularly for weight gain and a belly fat and that inch gain, as you may call it.
So if you have lived your life reasonably healthily and if you have been working out, you might be very surprised to find that you may have very few or absolutely no signs and symptoms of perimenopause or even menopause thereafter. None at all. I remember I asked my mother, when did you menopause and how did that go down? Because it's a selfish question, right? We're always wondering what's going to happen to me, considering a large part of that is genetic. She used to be very athletic. And she turned around and said, oh, yeah, I menopaused. I didn't even realize when. That was it. That was all there was to it. There was no fuss and no hue and cry. It wasn't even a consideration, the older generation. So, yeah, you might be very pleasantly surprised. And if you have any signs and symptoms, you know what? The answer is the same. Get back to healthy eating, healthy living, get back to being out in nature, get back to engaging in hobbies, exercise, etc., etc. It makes a world of a difference, all told.
Take that algorithm, because we're going to all get the scare stories, but not this. Thank you for the question.
Hi, good evening. So I have started my journey as a yoga instructor 4 months back, and belonging to a tier 2 city, I have seen that the perception of people regarding yoga has been regarding weight loss and inch loss especially. But I want to take and shift the narrative that it is a holistic ideology and a lifestyle, and not just regarding the weight loss or weight inch. That is just a very little part of it. So can you help me with any tip or any learning that will make this narrative shift towards a more holistic approach?
You know, I think it's already shifted. I don't think it's lost on anyone, frankly. It is, so your physical self cannot be separated from your emotional, your mental, your psychological self at all. Even when it comes to yoga itself or any form of exercise, it's so important to make sure that your clients enjoy it. Because if they don't, they're never going to do it. Simple. If you're starving them, if you're putting them on strict diets, soup, salad, that's it. I'm sorry, even the person who recommended soup and salad didn't grow up and didn't sustain themselves on soup and salad. They very much enjoy their creature comforts and the foods they like. So if you make it practical, you understand that the person you're dealing with is a live beating heart out there, and you approach it with that sensibility, that how are they going to feel about it, think about it, what is the psychological repercussion, etc. You'll be very successful and your members will get it bang on target.
I love that. Thank you for that question. I think we're the first. Yes, there you go.
Yeah, great talk. Thank you for that. The question I have is that a lot of talk around health is about weight loss, right? Including a lot of the questions we heard today. But what I want to ask is that what about some people who will eat as much as they like, but they do not gain weight? There's some toll that their body is taking anyway. So I want to learn more about that.
So besides those few genetically blessed people, people who have a high basal metabolic rate, when we're younger, we burn a lot more. We can eat anything. We're growing, expanding, etc. Height and all of that. You can eat a whole lot and find that it doesn't have any repercussion on you. It's pretty much around the age of 28 or so that you get your first metabolic hit, where you find that, oh my God, what I'm consuming now is not being burnt off the same way. A little bit of fat, a little bit of inches, etc. gather around us, which were not the case earlier. And that tends to get worse as time goes forward. The good news is, you know what? It happens to all of us. It's a journey. It happens to all of us. We also get more disciplined. We also have more willpower to fight that and say, no, I still want to look a certain way. I still want to feel a certain way. I still want to maintain my health and my physicality and my youth in a certain fashion. And we do it. It's no big deal.
The rest of us are like waiting for revenge to hit in your 40s and 50s. That was a great question, though. We had a couple more on this side. We have a few minutes, so we can probably take 2 more questions. Yes.
So I just want to know, we attended a session on the digital twin and how people can use supplements to get better health and lose weight. So I'm just wondering, what's your view on that? So there are these companies that say, give you a whole, do this digital twin, and then they give you a whole lot of supplements. Is that safe? Is that all right to do?
So supplements need to be taken very carefully under medical guidance and supervision only. Probably assisted with blood tests and other tests to ensure that you have a certain deficiency. It's not going to be a problem. To what extent is it? How should supplements be taken? In what combination? Which brands, etc. So you have a huge explosion right now, for example, in Ozempics, where everybody seems to be taking it all over the place. And it's great for those who are diabetic. But hey, there are very many side effects out there. Cardiac, respiratory, and very many side effects. Have you considered that as well? Skinny and dead is no good. It's no good. So you want to make sure that you really, have done your homework well and you get things in order.
Skinny and dead is no good should be the hashtag we use for this. Maybe one more question? Okay.
You spoke about the trend in wellness and health in the younger age group. Have you noticed a change in the narrative on health and wellness in schools? Because our generation, yeah, maybe we are understanding the trend, but it almost feels like for the youth, it's going another extreme.
That's a very good question. We all have young at home, our own or otherwise, or are going to, or whatever it is. So I have two young daughters, 12 and 19, in the thick of it. Schools are very, very committed to sports and all sorts of physical activities. And so therefore are my children. It's done fabulously in terms of play, not in terms of, oh my God, you've got to stay fit and you've got to keep your weight off. That'll all come later in your life when you need it. But for this point in time, you want to make sure that you're just athletic, you're sporty, you're out there, you love it, it's habit. Once it becomes habit from an early age, just like anything else, it tends to stay for life, or a large part of it. And that is the game changer, really. What is your habit? You've learned from a young age to, to be academic, to be a certain way with the family, to relate to people in a certain way, etc. It tends to be habit. You're really not even thinking about it thereafter. We didn't quite have that. That's there now, and that's a huge game changer. Yes, I agree with you in your question out there in terms of nutrition, that it's going another way. But then, the other gentleman here asked about basal metabolic rate. When you don't have to worry about it, why should you worry about it? If you can eat those chips and that, those Oreo cookies and ice cream, etc., do it now while you can. Later, you won't be able to afford it. Get it out of your emotional and psychological system. Do it. If it is denied to you, just like anything else denied, it's going to be the forbidden fruit. It's going to be something that's very coveted. You're very much after in later life. It is not going to serve you well.
And just picking up from that, I think as we wind down, we have a couple of minutes. Nawaz, do you think we've lost that sense of when you're a kid, that sense of joy and play where exercise becomes part of your daily routine and lifestyle and you don't really think about it? And now the messaging has become very fear-based as you get older. Do this or you're going to, be terribly unhealthy or you're going to die. Do you think we've lost something there?
Unfortunately, I think that's exactly where it's at. It is, for most of us, in our 40s, 50s, fear-based. It is. It is not about enjoyment and fun. Very little of that is about enjoyment and fun. Whereas the younger generation, no, are doing it because it's so much fun, because they want to dance that way, they want to stretch that way, they want to be those ballerinas, they want to be those athletes, they want to be those football stars, etc., which was not the case with us. So kudos to them, a great advantage, and yes.
And it will pay off in the long term as well.
Totally.
So final words from you to this audience here, and I know you're going to be signing your book right after this.
There's a lady, yes, we have a book signing right after this, so do pick up your book from Out and Right, I think, and come back to us. There's a lady out here in the mustard who was very eager to ask questions, if she can ask her question. Right here, she's looking at me and smiling, right up in the center here.
I cannot see you clearly.
Can you put your hand up there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know where the mic is, but you can go really quickly. Let's go. You can stand up.
Can somebody give her a mic back there?
they've
The lady that's standing, she was very enthusiastic to ask something.
Because we told him it was the last question. No pressure, no pressure.
Hi Nawaz, thank you for the talk. I had just had this question that a lot of us people in this generation, I think as we have crossed 25, we become more conscious about our health, and we kind of look back and think all the way we have destroyed our health, and there's this tendency to now try to do the right thing from here on. So especially for people like many of us who did not have the most healthy lifestyle but need to do a little extra now to balance that out as well. So if you can tell something in that regard. Thank you.
So whenever you're out and about at the Jaipur Lit Fest, for example, try and look around for the healthiest thing you can possibly eat. I know all the waffles and candies and cakes are around, but if you can find something healthier, a wrap, out of which you peel off most of the wrap part of it, because it's really there to hold things together. It's not there for you to eat, really. Rather than just eat, the biryanis and the oily stuff, just make healthy choices wherever you are. It goes a long way. Simple things like drink a lot of water. You'll tend to eat a lot less. Your skin will be great. You'll tend to flush out a lot of toxins. You'll retain less weight. Make sure you get ample sleep. The body rests and repairs only when you're sleeping. And otherwise, it doesn't. We tend to age a lot. We tend to gain a lot of weight when we're underslept. Simple things you can certainly do and start. And as you see the result, you'll automatically feel, hey, it's paying off so hugely. with so little that I automatically want to go to the next step. What's the next? So go for the low-hanging fruit of this sort first, make your life easy, and the rest you'll light your way and follow it because you'll see the result right there and then.
Thank you so much for that question. Thank you for answering that. Actually, thank you all for your questions and your participation. I want to say a huge round of applause for the sign language. Thank you for doing this.
That was
we appreciate
amazing.
You.
Thank you. Give her a big
we
hand as
appreciate
well.
you. And Nawaz, thank you so much for this lovely conversation.
Thank you, Amrita. That was great moderating. Thank you, everyone.